Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Circle of Honey with Yulala Gomez. And today I want to talk a little bit about the importance of retrogrades. Everybody complains a lot about the retrogrades and blames a lot the retrogrades, especially Mercury that retrogrades 3 times a year. Venus retrogrades much less, Mars retrogrades much less. This year, or recently, we had a Mars retrograde for a quite long period of time, actually still moving in the, what they call the shadow period, which is like going direct, but going towards the degrees where it was or that it went in retrograde. So it's basically the planet don't actually move, but from our perception, it moves. It's just that it stays stationary. So it's moving like this, and then let's say it goes back, and then when it becomes direct again, it will cross all the period or all the space, all the degrees when it was retrograding, okay? So even though it's going direct, is what we call in shadow. So basically, it's reviewing those areas, those degrees, areas of our life that moments that we cross during the retrograding. Now, in this actual moment, we have Venus retrograding and Mercury retrograding. So basically, in the year, we have had the three personal planets that retrograding. The sun doesn't retrograde, the moon doesn't retrograde. What does that mean? First, my fridge stopped working, very much Mercury retrograde. Plus other situations with technology that tend to happen during retrogrades. But in reality, it's the revision of processes that you've started from before the planets go retrograde, and a revision if you are doing or taking the right decisions, or if the methods that you are using to deal with the situation is the right way to do it. That is the purpose of the retrograding. With Venus, something similar happened, but in this case, remember that the energy of Venus got to do with the relationships, with the abundance, with love, with connections, with connection with everything around you. Are you connecting in the right way? Are you like there is a revision in your connections that is happening with two eclipses, especially now the second eclipse now that is going to happen in 3 days. The second eclipse in Aries, which is the last eclipse that we are going to have in the axe Aries. The next time we have an eclipse in Aries will be a lunar eclipse in 9 years when the North Node is in Libra. And it's the last kick that is given in the axe of connections. Aries is individuality, Libra is connections. So we will have a solar eclipse in Aries. So wherever you have Aries in your natal chart, that is going to be like the cherry of the cake of a year and a half of work since 2023. So the question here is, how have you evolved in the way you connect to others, or how have you evolved internally that is manifested in the way that you relate yourself with others? How have your connections changed in the last year and a half? And how much of that change is related to your inner change because of your revision? We are going through that last bit of revision. We also had a Venus star point in the degree 2 of Aries in that degree, in that area of our lives where we have Aries, the degree 2 of Aries, there is also a revision. There is also something that we are changing, transforming. There is something that is growing, a new way of commitment, a new way of relating, a new passion, a new, or not necessarily a new passion, a new way of seeing those things that bring passion to our lives. So the message that I want to transmit here is that this 12th month it has been tough because energetically we are going through a lot of cleansing. Eclipse, the eclipse we know are associated to very karmic situations. North Node entering in Pisces in January. The eclipse we had, that season of eclipse that started in March 1st, with the first eclipse on the 14th of March, that was Saturn included in it, the retrograding of these two planets, the presence of Neptune that is going to finally enter on the, I think it's the 30th of March, is going to enter in Aries, helping us hopefully to dissolve our ego way more, because Aries is the ego. So we are going to have 15 years of a softening energy in the house of Aries. Whatever we have Aries, that area is hopefully going to soften rather than falling into fake delusions, because Neptune has that capacity when we are not very grounded. And Neptune was participating in the eclipse, and actually is participating in this as well, even if it's a little bit far, because the eclipse is going to be in the degree 8. Neptune is in the degree almost 0 of Aries by the day of the eclipse. It's going to be next day enters in Aries. So it's like 9 degrees apart, from 9 to 10 degrees apart from the eclipse, but it's part of the eclipse as well. The Venus star point that we had in the degree 2 of Aries. I mean, there is a lot of new beginning, new understanding, new ways of understanding and relating to connections. So I want to do a reading of what is the energy of this eclipse. What is it bringing to your connections, to your personal connections? Okay. I'm going to do 2 groups. Group number 1. Group number 2. Take a moment to connect. And I'm going to start with group number 1. The question is, what is this eclipse in Aries bringing to your connections? The energy of group number 1. Here I can clearly see how group number 1 is doing a detailed revision, very retrograde, of a connection. At the bottom of the deck, I feel I have a sense of deficiency or difficulty for commitment. The Emperor and the 6 of Swords. The Emperor talks to me here more than stability, which is the meaning of the Emperor in general. I feel it as a detailed revision, analysis of the past, and therefore analysis of the things or movements of things that we need to let go. Just number one. Two of Wands, Nine of Cups, Five of Wands. Ace of Pentacles and the Magician. At the bottom, wow, the Queen of Wands with the Hierophant. Well, group number one, even if you are doing a revision in a connection, I sense that group number one is doing a revision from the comfort of his home, meaning in a state of loneliness. And in a way, starting to feel comfortable with yourself. Because you understand that individuality brings its benefits. There is a resistance to this union. This resistance could be a conflict, could be a problem that you have with someone. I don't know if you are being aware that the revision that you are doing here is that if you want to carry on in a connection from the past, or if you want to move on your own. And right now, you are feeling the benefit or the advantage of that loneliness. It's like you are feeling the benefit or the advantage of that individuality. Deep. Group number one wants to expand his or her vision in connections. You come from a period of your life where you were accustomed to a relationship for many years. That relationship served the purpose of helping you to know lots of things about yourself and growing out of lots of mental structures that weren't useful anymore. And I feel that you are accustomed to this connection, but there is a feeling I have here that group number one has this necessity of exploring himself or herself in his or her individuality, in his or her how does it feel to be single? How does it feel to be with myself? you want to have a new beginning in your life in which the relationship that you have is with yourself, without always having somebody or is a person that has been in a for a period of time in your life. Because I feel that you want to transmute an energy of inability or an energy of incapacity to individuality that you were having in the past. It's like before you didn't feel that you were good enough to be on your own, and that you felt that you needed to have that person to have an added value. In few words, group number one wants to be single. I don't know if you're aware of it, or if it's your soul screaming it and your mind fighting it. Group number one. Group number one, there is a love proposal or a romance proposal or opportunity that you are literally rejecting. This is collapsing, it's falling apart, it's not working. You are rejecting this opportunity or this situation in your life. You're fighting against it. Or it's a relationship that is collapsing, not that you're rejecting. That is reaching maybe its end or a moment of revision. Because there is something or a healing that needs to take place here related to your emotional body. You are doing a revision of those aspects of you that you need to heal related to your emotional body, related of the reasons why you were connecting to another person in the past. So you are feeling that you need to take this distance and to do this movement in order to understand yourself from a higher or a deeper way, to get to know yourself as you are, not who you are in relation to being with someone else. This is like a person who has been for such a long in a connection that doesn't remember what it feels to be herself or himself. If it's not with the other, with the person that is next to you. I think that in conclusion, I can say that there is a way of connecting in your relationships, your personal relationships, that is reaching an end. And from now on, you are going to connect, or you want to connect with yourself. Remember who you are. Remember what you like. Remember what are the things that you enjoy. Remember what are the things that you like not the things that you adopted as yours but aren't yours, or that you adopted as yours but they were of the other person. They belong to the lifestyle of the other person. And you want to connect again with your individuality. And it is valid that you want to take a step and do that revision. It is valid. So if you were confused about why you were feeling the necessity of finishing a connection or withdrawing from a connection, it's because your soul is inviting you with this eclipse, with these retrogrades, with all the movements that we have had in March, to reconnect with yourself so that you can evaluate yourself, so that you can get to know yourself, so that you can get to understand yourself. And once you are complete on your own, knowing who you are, knowing what you like, knowing what is the real desire of your soul, later on, you will be ready to start or restart a connection, but from a different place. And that is the message that I have for group number 1. I'll see you in the next video. Welcome, group number 2. So I'm going to do the reading for you today about what is this eclipse bringing in your life with this energy of the retrogrades, the eclipse season, Neptune in Aries, Venus point start point in Aries as well. It feels similar to the reading of group number 1. I start sensing that group number 2 have gone through a hard time, difficult time when it comes to emotional connections. There is something that you have crossed emotionally that probably didn't go very well. It felt tough, it felt heavy. There was a rupture, there was breakthrough. But that rupture was an actual opportunity, or was not an opportunity. That rupture or that emotional issue that you crossed was the entry door to create a new structure, to create something new that generate abundance and enthusiasm. Basically, there was an emotional situation that through the pain that you've gone through, it activated your creative mind in order to connect to your purpose, mission, and abundance. This person, group number 2, that was involved in, with whom you were involved, and it created a little bit of emotional chaos, was somebody with whom this person was a master. Through the situation that you went through, this person invited you to reconnect with your creativity and with your true purpose and mission. It created a shift of direction. It could have felt as a treason, and probably it was. I mean, if that's what happened, that was the means that the universe took in order to bring this lesson for you. So it opened the door for your creativity to flourish and to have a connection or seek a connection, more than seek, to be open to receive connections that are more light in their energy. Basically, it feels like you went through a situation, and after that situation, you decided that you needed to go slower and lighter in your next connections. But it was meant to serve that purpose. Because you were meant to close a cycle in the way that you relate to others. That cycle needed to close it feels like group number 2 was probably in constant connections. And the last or most recent connection that you had created an emotional chaos that shifted your direction to connect you with your creativity and with a lighter energy, because you needed to close that cycle of being in a constant connection with others so that you can experience independency, silence, meditation, introspection, reflection, self-awareness, to develop self-value, to connect to your creativity, to connect to redirect the energy in your own projects, to redirect the energy into your mission, purpose. Because I feel that you were spending a lot of time giving your energy to another party rather than focusing on yourself, rather than focusing on what makes you happy, rather than focusing on what makes you what you would that what you came to do. Is like you were spending all your energy putting it in another person. And that loneliness that you have experienced because of the breakthrough that you went through, or the breakup that you went through, is getting or is helping you to connect with your mission, is helping you to connect to your purpose and create a structure for yourself. Due to the excess of energy that you were putting in the other, and the commitment and the demand that you were having from the other, you did not have time or energy to put it on your own projects. That was a massive block and obstacle. And now you're empowering yourself in order to know what was blocking you, what was stopping you. You were stagnant in your creative world because you were putting a lot of attention and energy in another. You were putting a lot of attention and energy in an external a third person or a second person, rather than in your own project. You are a project in itself. And this eclipse will bring clarity about why something didn't work through, so that instead of blaming it or blaming the other as the bad person of the story because it didn't appreciate you, or because you feel that that person rejected you, or because you feel that that person didn't give you what you deserve, you are gonna see it as the opportunity of life that life gave you to of something that it didn't work, something that didn't go through, something that made you stagnant in your energy, to move out from it, or to understand what was the purpose of that difficult situation. And the purpose of that difficult situation was to create awareness in you of your value and your mission and your purpose, and so that you could put the energy into yourself and create a structure and create self-value and create something that is of benefit for yourself and for others. Basically, a relationship didn't work because you had to be focused on your mission. You had to be focused on your structure. You had to be focused on your creative project of what you came to do on this earth. And you can now move from the blaming and from the pain to the gratefulness, to understand that you were giving an excess of energy to someone, and that that energy was meant and reserved for you, your project, your mission, your purpose. Okay, so that's the message that I have for you. Happy eclipse, and I'll see you in the next video.